Let's slow the film down. I went through the sequence with you, and later on a couple of guys are going to go through the sequencing a little bit more in slow motion so we can show you how to do it correctly. But let's go through the separate nerves and the attacks on them. We first had this double hand coming down just like your form in the slow down. What I'm doing is I'm attacking the nerves on the upper part of the arm. Now, if I hit the ulnar or the median nerve or the radial nerve, it doesn't matter. Okay, all these nerves are going to react the same. I don't want to hit it straight, okay, because the body can take that. And as you've done your conditioning for all these years, whatever drills you do to condition, or maybe you're on the mukjung, you're conditioning your forearms to absorb that. But the nerves don't absorb a quick pull and stretch, okay? Now, I can't do it this way because the hand leaves. So I have to make sure that if I'm doing this way, I'm pulling in toward me before I drop down, because I want to stretch these two nerves, and you see what happens with the legs. Now, the reason that happens is when I attack the nerves, it's sending a neurological message to the neck first, the spine, okay, the central nervous system, and then up to the brain for monitoring. As this message is so intense going into the brain for monitoring, there's less electrical information coming down into the body to keep the muscle strong, as I mentioned earlier. So that quick pulling here, if I hit, it just hurts. Okay, it does nothing to the legs. When you rub, you see what happens to the legs. They lose their legs because you're stretching that nerve and you're pulling it tight, so the messaging is that much more acute. Okay, if I just struck straight into it, what happens is the muscle absorbs it a little bit. But when I stretch the muscle, if you've seen the muscle spindle cell in the tendon video that we did, you'll see that there's nerve receptors in the muscles called muscle spindle cells. There's also tendons. Now, this is just a muscle, so I'm working with the reflexive nerves of that muscle spindle cell. So even though I didn't get to the nerve here, I'm getting the nerve here, but I'm getting a nerve reaction out of that radial nerve on this part of the forearm right in through here. So again, I don't have to be point specific. There's a point called lung 5, okay? And actually, this is kind of funny. I used to train with the pressure points, and I've long ago thrown them out. And there's lots of reasons because I've done research and stuff, but here's something, another thing to tell you, okay, maybe it isn't pressure points. You have lung point number 5. Now they have lung point 5 here, they have a lung point 5 here, and they have a lung point 5 here. Okay, so if this is lung 5 and this is, well, that just tells you that it's not a pressure point. Okay, there's something longer underneath, and it's not lung point 5.1, and it's not lung point 5.2 or 3. Okay, it's just the radial nerve. So by sliding here, I get that whole nerve and I get the stretch. So again, it's not a particular point that I'm after. That would be way too difficult. Now, in the past, when we trained that way, we got it to work. It was difficult. We got it to work. But now that we understand the underlying true structures rather than just going after these fictitious pressure points, we have a much better application. We have a much more viability in a real situation as well.